Well, it was a huge day on Wall Street as traders reacted to President Trump announcing a 90-day pause on most of his recent tariffs. Today's announcement sent stocks soaring after mixed trading to start the day. The Dow Jones Industrial Average ended the day up more than 2,900 points, and the S&P 500 posted its best day since October of 2008, up nearly 10%. The president announced the pause on tariffs to most countries except China. In fact, the president is raising tariffs on China starting tomorrow. Earlier today, he raised tariffs on that country to 104% and will now increase it to 125%.
Today's announcement sent stocks for Oregon companies like Nike, Columbia Sportswear, and Dutch Bros into the green again after a few rough days. But big companies aren't the only ones being impacted.
Fox 12 investigative reporter Ezra Kaplan joins us now after spending the day speaking with local businesses. So, Ezra, how are businesses reacting to all the changes?
Well, Pete, Nora, while the stock market has been in a bit of celebration mode, some local small and medium business owners are in panic mode.
So we're in an impossible situation.
Kyle Ranson is the CEO of Showers Pass, a Portland-based company that makes technical bike apparel like rain jackets. Their products are all imported from Asia, with 60 to 80% coming from mainland China. So today's announcement of tariffs on China being raised to 125% has hit especially hard.
I would describe it as just the most vicious roller coaster I've ever experienced in my working career. The business has been around 27 years, and this is the event that could actually force us to close the doors, and that in itself tells you how devastating it is.
Ranson says that nothing in his business fundamentals has changed. It's only the tariff policy that is now threatening to force his doors closed. In the short term, he says they have enough inventory to keep operating the business for now. The real problem comes with refilling the warehouses. The tariffs make it much more expensive to get new product into the country. He says to think of it like an import tax.
It has to be paid on arrival. So if we have, for instance, $1 million shipment arriving in the US, at point of arrival, we now have to find $1.6 million in free cash just to pay the tariffs. It's incredibly hard. It's to the point that we've canceled the shipping of any product from our partner factory in China because we literally do not have the capital to pay the tariffs.
And he says most small and medium businesses simply don't have that kind of money just laying around. What he says he really wants is stability and predictability.
Tell us what the rules are. Lay the rules out. Tell us what the future, and we'll execute against it. But change the rules every other day, it's impossible to run a business.
Ranson said also that simply moving his manufacturing to another country or domestically simply isn't feasible. He says their products are very technical to make, and just getting a new facility up and running to their quality of standard is about a 1.5 year process during normal times. And right now, he says, anything but normal. Reporting in studio, Ezra Kaplan, Fox 12.